Hello dear students. Today I am going to discuss some tips and tricks for your biology exam. So this is the peak point or the peak time for your exam. So my question is, are you ready? So let's begin with some tips and tricks. The very basic concepts are given here, like conceptual clarity. All the concepts should be clear to you so that the complex topics can be easily done or finished on a particular time. Next point is the regular revision schedule. Without skipping even a single day, you have to practice all the questions. Those are important consistently. Now, for this, you have to make your timetable where you should cover all the important areas. Moreover, the areas of improvement where you can work upon should also be noted down. This is to be done to clearly write their answers. For example, there are some questions in exams which we find sometimes more complex and difficult. So, how to solve those questions? That can only be done if we are ready for the exam. Next, the very important thing in the board exam of biology are diagrams. So, diagrams are the major part. In diagrams, labelings are important. Labeling is important in terms, for example, this is the diagram of a neuron or a nervous tissue. Here, these are the dendrites. We know that this part is known as cell body. So, the labeling should be done correctly and precisely. The arrows should indicate exactly or specifically to the point where the particular area or portion is there. These are the dendrites. So, we can't extend this arrow to this. So, this would be the wrong labeling. Therefore, we have to be very specific about the area which we want to indicate in our labeling. And this is why the labeling is important. Now, next part is practicing previous year's papers. At least previous year's papers of 5 to 10 years. The practice of these papers is equally important because this gives us idea that how long questions we are going to see in our exam and how short or very short questions should be attempted. Next is effective time management. Time management is the most important key in the exam of any subject. Now, effective time management can only be achieved if we practice some sample papers or some previous year's papers. Sample papers can be downloaded easily or they can be seen on the website of CBSE. CBSE sample papers are available on the sites. So here, time management is all about solving all the important questions from previous years and sample papers. Moreover, it is also equally important that you should spend some quality time with your friends, family and your sports. Since sports and some sort of healthy diversion is equally important to keep our brain healthy and active as well. By talking to each other, that is with your friends or family members, you may get good quality of time. Moreover, some sort of tips and tricks. Now, to draw diagrams, it is important that you should recognize the particular answer. You should incorporate your diagrams wherever they are possible to implement. For example, there is a question where some particular type of topic is given or is to be asked. For example, the question says that it is about DNA. So you have to try that what all things you can show in your diagram. You can show the nucleotides or nucleosides or the phosphate group, sugar phosphate backbone and many more. Likewise, you have to label the diagram. Labeling is the most important key, as I stated earlier. So here in this diagram, we can see the labeling is done in a very straight way. It is done with the help of a ruler or a scale. It is completely straight or well aligned. You should use biological vocabulary in your answers. For example, there is a term photosynthesis. Instead of writing that this is the process of making food by plants, you can use photosynthesis, because we know photosynthesis is a vocabulary or the term which is given for this particular statement about plants. Likewise, you can use various other types of vocabulary words and terms. Therefore, you should remember some key points, key terms and biological vocabulary. Now, it is also important that you should go through the marking scheme and weightage. This is how you can judge what chapter makes more marks weightage or which chapter makes less marks weightage. For example, here are some sections given like section A, B, C, D. And here are the categories given like very short answer type question, short answer 1 type question, short answer 2nd type question and long answer. The question details are given as for section A, you can get 5 questions of 1 mark each, so 5 marks. In section B, you can get 7 questions for 2 marks each, so the marks would be 14. Likewise, for section C, 12 questions can be seen with 3 marks each and total 36 marks. For section D, 3 questions can be seen of 5 marks each, which is 15. So, 15 marks. Now, there are some other tips which you can follow and you should try to remember. Like, you should underline the scientific names. For example, there is a scientific name of human like Homo sapiens. So you should underline the scientific names separately. There are some other rules also which we are going to discuss later. Now, you should write your answers with clarity. That is, with the good handwriting. At least all your alphabets and words should be clear. Those should be readable also. Now, you should answer according to the marks allotted. That is, for only 1 mark of question, you should try to attempt such questions within 1 or 2 lines. You can't attempt such questions in 1 paragraph because that doesn't make any sense. Otherwise, you can also run out of time. Wherever possible, it is important that you should give examples. For example, if we talk about a particular flower or a particular type of the plant, so you should give the particular example of that category. Now, In these pictures, we can see that good handwriting is there and all the words are well readable. Now, this is the thing which we were going to discuss, that is binomial system of nomenclature. Binomial, here bi means two and nomial means naming of or writing the scientific names. So, two names are there. First name is known as generic or genera, or second name is of species, so it is known as specific name. For example, Homo sapiens. So, this first name is generic. It indicates genus, and this second word indicates the species. So, generic or the genus word, it begins with a capital letter, that is H is the capital letter. Specific name begins with the small letter, that is specific word is begin with the small letter, that is the small s. Now, italic form is used when printed in text, but in exams we cannot write in italics, so we should remember to keep them underlined separately. Two names underlined separately when written in text. So, that should be written as Homo. I am writing here as there is no space. So, I am giving you an example again. Homo sapiens, here S means small s, and these two words should be separately underlined. Now, utilize your reading time to decide which questions are to be attempted. In your reading time, there is ample amount of time, that is around 10 to 15 minutes. You can easily decide or eliminate your choice of question which you don't want to attempt. You can recall all the important points which are there in your mind so that you can decide which question is to be attempted. Attempt those questions or section first which you are confident. Now, next is that you should attempt those questions or sections first for which you are confident that whatever you are going to write, all those answers would be correct. That makes a good impression on the examiner. Moreover, you can easily get the confidence to write other answers. Next, do not leave any question, as there is no negative marking, so you should not leave any question. At least you should mention some important terminologies or vocabulary or whichever things you know about that particular question. This makes the chances of getting even the half mark or 1 mark at least. Even if it is the case when you don't know anything I'm talking about, anything about that particular question, then also you should attempt. Next, put the correct and clear question numbers at the answer. For example, you are going to attempt the third question or the fourth question. The answer numbers should be readable. Now, next, avoid cutting, rubbing and overwriting or overlapping of words while writing the answer. If you are not sure that a particular word whichever you have written is correct, then you should cut it with a single line. Don't write like Homo sapiens. If you find that you have written the wrong spelling or wrong answer or a wrong word, then you should not do like this or like this. You should simply do like this and keep writing. First, you should avoid cutting and rubbing and overwriting. But in case if it is done, then this is the right way. Next, on the long answer type questions, add a diagram or a flow chart to make the answer more presentable. Moreover, it saves your time. For example, you are running out of time because at the end you have to revise your paper also. In that case, you should save at least 15 minutes to revise your paper. And in case you are running out of time, you can make a diagram with the correct labeling and all the points which you could write as the paragraph.